All right, everyone. On today's kind of random episode of Nothing Major, we recorded an interview with three-time Grand Slam champion Stan Wawrinka. We did this when he was in Australia, week before the Australian Open, and we are going to drop that today. So very excited to have an actual good tennis player, great tennis player on the podcast. And with that, let's get into this great interview.
Okay, Nothing Major. We have a very incredible guest on the pod right now. What we're doing here is something we've never done. We are breaking a sacred oath of ours to not, we always said we were not going to bring on any Grand Slam winners, as the four of us never won a Grand Slam. Jack, your doubles titles don't count. We know that. And now we have a three-time Grand Slam champion, the 2014 Australian Open champ, 2015 French Open champ, 2016 US Open champ, Stan Wawrinka, coming to us from Melbourne, Australia at 8 a.m. right now. We appreciate you coming on the pod. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, so far so good. I arrived a few days ago, but thanks for the invitation. That's the problem when your podcast beginning to be so big. You need to invite different people. So I'm happy to be here.
I want to talk about the podcast invite. As we know, Sam has been very thirsty trying to get guests. What finally closed you to join our podcast? Did you see our reel in which Sam started reaching out to people? Okay, so he saw the reel. He reached out to Matthew McConaughey. It worked. So was it the reel that finally closed you?
Yeah, but I realized that I told him yes, and then I never came back to you about the timing and also. But the reel was big and was good. So well done, Sam.
So he gets ghosted a lot. That's right.
But Sam is good, huh? He's good. You're right. You need to ask people. If not, they're never gonna come. So
I appreciate it. These other three guys could learn a little something from me.
Yeah, that's true.
We just have you do it all, so it's great for us.
True.
All right, well, Stan, we appreciate you coming on. We're actually going to get serious here. You're making your 19th appearance at the Australian Open. Are you like a creature of habit there? Do you always stay at the same hotel? Do you eat at the same restaurants? Or have you mixed it up throughout your career?
No, I do mix a lot. I don't have any big routine about that. I never wanted that. I try to enjoy every year is different, try to enjoy as much as possible. My last year or few years, we'll see. But yeah, like you guys, I'm sure Melbourne is always a special place to start. The tournament is quite amazing for us. Fans are one of the best here. They really love the sport. They enjoy the sport. They party for the sport all day long until late night. And yeah, hopefully I can enjoy this year.
Yeah, I don't know how special the Australian Open is to us. I think we have like one fourth round appearance between the four of us at that event.
But that's too early
that
for
was
you
your
guys.
First.
That was too early for you to leave.
Yeah, there you go. So this, as everyone knows, this was your first Grand Slam title. Let's go back down memory lane. I'm going to bring up unfortunately, maybe a bit of a bad memory. The 2013 match against Novak Djokovic, in which you lost, if I get this score correct, 1-6, 7-5, 6-4, 6-7, 12-10 to Novak in 2013. Would you say that was one, like a big turning point in your career where you finally did realize that you could compete with the best players in the world and maybe eventually win a Grand Slam title?
Yeah, that was for me one of my most important match. That's for sure. That was the first time ever that I really realized that I was able to fight with the number one in the world, the best player in the world, and I was close to win, but I took that as a victory. It was really painful that night to lose against him because I was so close again. The 5 year before that, I was always like around 20 in the world. I was playing well, but always losing against the top player. Even in tough, I had some opportunity. I never believed in myself. And after that match, it took me a few months to really realize that maybe if I find a way how to push a little bit more, to do that little extra, I will have some chance to beat the top players.
Do you think it was like more mental holding you back prior to that, or more physically holding you back prior to that match or prior to that moment in your career?
I was clearly mental. Then it's tennis is a big puzzle. You need to put all the pieces together. But for me, it was clearly mental because I didn't really improve physically. That's that big from January to the end of the year when I did my first semi-final in U.S. Open. So yeah, mentally I was always like not confident with myself and never believed that I could achieve such a big things.
Even though you lost that match, and I think we've all been here, did that give you a ton of confidence for the remainder of the year heading into that the rest of the 2013 season?
Not directly. Not directly because, like you said, how many times we hear that was a good loss, but we kind of tired of that. I think when we're playing for so many years, when we hear the coach or the people around, wow, such a great level, amazing, this is a good loss, but we don't want to lose, we want to win, and so directly not. But I work on myself a lot. The 2 months after, really deep inside myself, if I was ready to do what it takes more, even tough. I always practice well. I always push myself. I believe that I was missing a little bit inside to really push for that last step.
Fast forward 1 year to 2014. You ended the year 2013 in the top 10. In the 2014 Australian Open, you're a top 8 seed. Did you have the belief at that time that you could win the Australian Open?
Not going into the tournament, because I never think and see a tournament like that. Like I don't go into the tournament and think like, oh, maybe I can win, maybe not. For me, I know it's stupid and we don't like that, but it's match after match. I believe that when I arrive in Australia, I knew that every match I will play, I had the chance to win. So it was really step after step, and I was playing my best tennis. I played Novak in quarterfinal, so it was kind of important one. I lost to him the year before. I lost to him in US Open semi-final in 5 sets again. So I was getting closer and closer, and I finally get him. And after that, I was playing Thomas Berdych semi-final. Was quite happy to play against him. Even tough was a tough match, and then when you enter Rafa, I was happy to play him. Like, you have nothing to lose. I'm playing a first final in a Grand Slam. What can happen? Except the fact that I need to enjoy playing my best tennis and try to get the trophy.
Going back to the match against Novak, you had lost him the year before, and before that, you lost to him 14 times in a row. I don't know if you knew that going into the match.
I know. Trust me, I know. But
you were 0-14.
We all been there. And I think to lose against Novak so many times is not a big problem. It's normal.
Exactly. Novak pretty much has that record against most people. Was there something that, like, going into that match, once you got going, did you kind of ever hit a moment where you said to yourself, like, all right, this could be this is my 15th try. I feel like I'm going to get him this time.
Let's put it that way. I was hoping for a big match again because I lost in 5 sets the year before and in the US Open the same. And then we start the match 6-2 for him. I'm like, Stan, come on, please do something better. Don't get killed in 3 sets. At least push, get the fight. And then you into the match. I start to feel better. I start to move better. I start to go against him. I knew what I had to do against him. I need to go for it. You need to push him. You need to constantly fight. I'm not scared about the fitness fights against him. All those years was never that the problem. More his game level. And I think was 9-7 in the 5th set. That match can go either way.
You beat Berdych in the semifinal, and then you played Nadal in the final. When you were watching Federer and Nadal play in the semifinal, did you want to play one of them more than the other?
Yeah,
were you cheering for someone, or did you not?
Just go straight to the point. Of course, for Rafa. For me, yeah. For me, like, Roger, we had such a different relationship. We are close, we are friends. When I arrived, he was already at the top of the ranking, practice almost every week with him, playing Davis Cup, share a lot of things together. For me, I had that little things that I was like, if I play my first final of slams against Roger and I lose it again, it's going to be tough mentally. So please get Rafa in the final. I have nothing to lose. I can go, I can focus. I have nothing in my mind. Apart from the final, apart from the tennis.
Did Federer like shoot you a text before that final and say like, hey, good luck, buddy?
No, he texts me after. It's okay.
After, okay, all right, that's good. That's good enough. Whereas going into that final, were you? I mean, were you more nervous playing in that final than you were playing in a quarterfinal or a semifinal? We've never made a final of a slam, so we don't know what it feels like. But are the nerves way different in a final?
So for me, it was much easier than the semifinal. For me, it was like I was feeling honestly my best. Like I remember being in the player lounge. Nobody's here when you're there in the final. It's completely empty. You can choose whatever table you want to have your lunch. And I was really like excited in a good way. I was not nervous at all. I knew I was playing my best tennis. Like I said, like worst case, what I'm gonna lose the final against Rafa, and it's still gonna be amazing tournament. So I start to be nervous during the match when Rafa start to have some back problem, and at that moment I start to look on my right. I saw the trophy, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's gonna, maybe I can bring it back home. So that's when I start to be nervous. But before the match, I was like just enjoying that moment.
Did you have like a big party that night? What does it look like when you win a slam?
That's the biggest party you can have.
Did you go out in Australia, or did you fly home and like then go out?
No. I went out Australia directly. Like I think almost.
You could do both, Sam. You know.
Yeah, but no, but tennis is always difficult. We play tournament every week. We never have really time to enjoy and to party. And after the final of a slam, you like if you're not gonna party now, you will never party during your whole career. So yeah, with a big party, we closed the bar. I remember they had to lock the bar from inside because we were not allowed to stay longer. And when I get out, it was already like sunny outside. I had press to do the next day, 1 hour after. So yeah, it was not that simple. That's awesome. The worst.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you so at 27, you're a Grand Slam champion. Did you feel like when you woke up that next day, like your life was dramatically different?
No. Everybody was talking about it, like of course the press, and it was such a big surprise for the tennis world for me to win it. I understand that, but at the end of the day, like you're Grand Slam champion, but you're still a player. You go for the next tournament. I remember that week, the next week we were playing Davis Cup in Serbia. So yeah, at the end it's just a normal. Another tournament, I would say.
Were you able to kind of ride the confidence from winning that slam in 2014 to, the rest of the season, or does it go as quickly as the ATP schedule goes? Next week, new tournament, new venue, kind of deal.
Yeah, it's always a reset. Every tournament, it's a reset. But of course, winning a slam, I got some confidence a little bit. I think I ride it until French Open. I won my only Masters 1002 in Monte Carlo. I was feeling great, and French Open I had a really bad loss to Garcia Lopez, I think. But I think like tennis, it's one of the most difficult sports because you have tournament every week, and you start again a new tournament, and you're gonna play a different player with different condition, different balls. So doesn't matter the confidence you have to be fully focused. You cannot just enter a tournament with being confident by what you did the week before. So it just puts me in a different place mentally with myself. I was finally full confidence in myself on what I could achieve. So it's helped me the years after that.
Did anything surprise you after the fact of winning Australia? I think the four of us, honestly could say we'd have probably just stopped playing tennis for maybe 6-8 months if we won a slam, and it would have been like the greatest year of our lives. But, for somebody who was at the top of the game for so long, did it hurt your motivation, help your motivation? Take us through that mentally.
Well, for me, there's two things. One, it was never a dream to win a slam. It was never a goal. It was never a goal, like, because I always been step by step. For me, my dream when I was young was to be a professional tennis player. So it's mean to be top 100 in the world. And then when I achieved that, I was like, oh, I want to be top 50. I want to be top 20. So it's always been a step. It's never been a goal to win a slam in that way. So for me, it helped me a lot to keep pushing. Winning, it's addictive. I'm a competitor. I want to win. So every time I can win something, I want more. So it didn't affect me at all mentally. It was the opposite. I wanted to push even myself more for trying to achieve that again.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, because winning a major, getting that hunger for another one, which you ultimately did, is really remarkable. I mean, really, really remarkable. And, after that fact, winning that first slam, was there any belief in your mind that you wouldn't win another one after that?
For me, I was like, okay, like you go week after week or tournament after tournament, you try to keep pushing and keep getting to the top and winning what you can. But I believe that I had the game and the level to win another tournament, another big one. But I never enter any of the slams thinking, oh, maybe this one is going to be for me. Again, like the draw are so strong. You had the Rafa, you had Novak, you have the Andy also at that time was like super tough to win a slam. So when you have one in your pocket, you're like, okay, at least I have one. I can go, I can keep fighting, keep pushing and see what's going to come.
Yeah. Was there anything from like a media sponsor that kind of surprised you or took you by surprise really by after winning, a Grand Slam that just kind of took your social profile, your worldwide celebrity status to a different level?
But of course, it changed a bit. Sponsor and media and all for sure. It's put you in a different league as an athlete. But it's not really a big surprise. I think the fact that I was 29 at that time I was already on tour since 10 years. Like it's not like it's going to completely change my life or my the way I think or the way I'm going to live. Like yeah, of course, I had better sponsor. I had better income also going to small tournaments, but it doesn't change the way I'm gonna live because I was there for so many years already.
And kind of you moving on to the next year, we get to 2015. You've won a slam. You get to the French Open. You're one of the best players in the world. You have a tough third round match against Steve Johnson. You squeak that one out.
Court one. Baby.
Yeah,
you remember.
Yeah.
Kick to the back end.
How'd you know to do that?
Yeah, that was a strategy nobody ever employed. But after those 76 minutes that we played, did you feel as if, you were unstoppable at that point? I mean, not just me, but just obviously winning a slam, being into the fourth round. I think you played Simone the day after, or a couple days after. And, I remember watching it from my couch at home, and you absolutely blasted him just as bad as you blasted me. So it made me feel a little bit better. But when did you feel as if that French Open title was attainable?
I was playing well. I was confident with my game. Those heavy ball was good for my game too. I could really go for it. I remember, like you say, playing you or playing Simon.
I remember well.
I was going front and back and full power. So I was feeling good with myself. But again, like I knew I was playing my best tennis, but doesn't mean I will win the tournament. I can play my best tennis and still lose to those top players. Novak, you need to not only play your best, you need to be a little bit lucky and everything. So before playing the final, like I don't think about winning the tournament. Before being in the final, I'm not thinking about, oh yeah, I'm playing my best tennis. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be an amazing tournament. Because you also know as a tennis player, you can wake up with a different feeling. You can feel a little bit tight. You can feel a little bit nervous, and one day can completely disappear the level you were looking and you were pushing for the tournament. So again, I know it's boring, but before playing a final, I never see myself winning a tournament.
Yeah, have you always had this, you've spoken about it here a couple of times. Have you always had this like day by day approach every day, this new task ahead of you? Have you always been super goal oriented in that fact? Because, I know some of us get ahead of ourselves and we look at the end of the tournament before we get there. Have you always had that, or is there a coach or somebody you can kind of attribute that great quality to?
I think I always had that since I'm young in everything. I always trying to push myself day by day, and also I had enough experience in tennis to know that you can play a super match, you can play a good match, and the next day suddenly your backhand doesn't go where you want to go, and the disappointment is so high that you start to lose a lot of confidence with yourself. So yes, since young, it's always about trying to push myself, trying to improve. again, I know it's super boring, but it is how it is, and I've always been like in that place, like trying to be the best version of myself, because that's the only thing I can control is what I'm gonna do outside the match. The match, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and there's a pretty incredible stat out there. There's only 7 guys ever that have been able to win 3 different major titles. Obviously, you being one of them, which is an incredible feat. For you, which of those 3 was the toughest, the hardest, kind of the road to the title?
I think physically and mentally was US Open.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, do
Well,
tell,
I don't
Sam.
know. I just feel like I remember watching that. I could see it in your face.
Yeah, I was
just like going
nose.
through it. You were like
nose.
You were working hard, like just in a deep mental state, just grinding for that.
The weekend of the semifinal final was super hot and humid. I remember every player was suffering a lot, and yeah, for me was mentally and physically the toughest one.
Winning a slam, going through everything you have to go through, weather conditions, like you said, mental, physical aspects of it all. Which do you think over the course of winning a slam in singles, what's more important, or what's harder, the physical or mental side?
For me, we are all athletes. We get ready to play in tough condition. Tennis is a tough sport. Like in Australia, can be 40 degrees. In New York, the same, so hot and humid. We play in different condition. We can play during the day, during the night. Some player have the chance to play only night session, so it's always better. But I think I see a tennis player and a career like a big puzzle. You have the fitness part, you have the tennis part, you have the mental part, you have everything you do to recover too, and you need to put all the pieces of the puzzle together to be the best version you can. Because if you're strong mentally but physically you cannot survive, then you're not going to win it. And it's the same if you physically you're the best athlete, but mentally you're not there, you're going to lose also too. So it's you need to find how to put all those pieces together.
You're in a small category there of the best to do it, including the big 4, as they're often referred to, as I'm sure you've heard a lot in your day. Did that ever bother you, or did you ever feel slighted about not being in that big 4 that everyone loved to talk about for so many years?
No, it's the opposite. I think I got bothered when they call it like the big 5 or things like that, or they put me close to Andy Murray, because he won 3 Grand Slam and I have 3 Grand Slam, but he has like 45 Masters 1000 and he's been on the top 10 for 20 years and top 5 the same. So for me, I'm completely away from them. Like I'm miles away from what they achieved, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful for them, and especially for Andy, because that's the talk that came more often. Because I'm happy with what I've achieved. I achieved way more than I could dream in my career, but I also know as a fact that my career is my career, and I'm so far away from what they've been doing, and I enjoy playing against them. I enjoy facing them, and I enjoy watch them too. So yeah, I get bothered when they try to approach my career to their career.
Out of those 4, which of them was the hardest to face for you?
But they all been so tough. We all been there, but I think Rafa on Claire, the French Open. I played him in the final 17. I was looking the time to make sure I can pass 1 hour 30 for a final in Slam. It's especially one and backhand, high on the backhand, non-stop. Like you feel like it's coming at you every single ball. So like you don't see any option how to put any winner or how to put him out of the court.
What about the easiest of the top of those big 4? Was there anyone that you felt the most comfortable playing?
The problem is, depends how you're going to take my answer, because I think I lost more than 20 times to Novak, but that's the one I was feeling happy to play. Even tough, I lost in London final 6-0, 6-3. Like I was enjoying to play him. Like he has such a nice ball, such a clean ball. You feel like even if he destroy you, you're kind of happy because you look the perfect tennis player in front of you.
Yeah, I was a victim to that one year in Canada. I think I lost in about 39 minutes to him, but thought I played okay. So
Yeah, it's tough.
knowing what you know now about winning slams, how do you think the big three were able to compartmentalize, I guess, just go about their business and all the success, everything they've had? I guess what made them so good at that? Did you ever talk to them about how they handled it or get advice on you start winning slams and the whole success and mental side of it?
But I always had good relation with Roger. Of course, we talk a lot, especially after I won the Australian Open, a little bit about everything. But for me, like what they achieved, it's unbelievable. Like they've been here since winning slams since 19 and doing that for 15 years, fighting each other. But I won my first slam. I was 29 years old. So I was normally close to the end of my career. So it's a big difference, I think, mentally, when you win when you're super young like them at 19 or even now senior and Alcaraz than when you win a slam at 29 and you've been on tour for 10 years.
You're obviously 39 now, but you're still going strong. You're still obviously loving it and enjoying it. Seems like as 4 retired players here that hung it up already, and you're still going. Where do you find the motivation? Where does that come from? What keeps you going? What keeps you?
I don't know for how long, but I love the competition. For me, tennis always been my passion. Like when I start, my dream was to be able to play those tournaments. So practice and doing the hard work and what the discipline, what it takes is quite easy for me in a way. Like I enjoy that. I know what I have to do. I enjoy pushing myself and I enjoy putting myself to the limit. So the traveling been a bit more difficult, I would say, with age, but the competition, being able to play those big tournaments and try to face the new generation and have some different challenge, that's what keep me motivated too. I also know that the day I stop, there will be no comeback. So I want to squeeze it until the end. That's for sure. Like, is it going to be a few months? Is it going to be 1 year or 2? I don't know. I think the result will tell also a little bit, because I enjoy that. If I feel competitive, if I feel that I can still win some good match and feel happy with myself. If I don't have the level, this is not something I enjoy too much. Do you have things you miss about being a tennis player, or you completely happy being retired?
Good question.
I'll go. I mean, I miss Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and Indian Wells. I don't miss practicing and day-to-day ins and outs. I literally just miss those 3 tournaments and nothing else. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy. I've been playing competitive pickleball, as I'm sure you know. And so that's,
I know. I saw that.
I'm getting my fill with that.
I'm not. I don't know why everybody not talking about competitive. They say you're trying to be there, but I'm not sure. Not sure what is your level yet.
My level's high.
Look up his win-loss record and you'll understand why people don't think he's that competitive.
Every episode.
I mean, for me, like, I would love to still be out there. Stan, you're exactly 1 month older than me. March of 85. I'm April of 85. So the fact that you're still going is incredible. I think for me, if my body would have held up after 2023, I would still try to be out there. It just wasn't to be. I had a lot of issues. You yourself, you've come back from so many injuries, surgeries. You've played challengers late in your career, and I think everyone admires that. It's very, very impressive. You're getting your rank. You've gotten your ranking back up. Your ranking falls down hundreds and hundreds of spots. You have surgery. So, like, I don't know. I think all of us, this isn't a question. We find that very admirable, and to do that. And look, dude, you're almost 40. Not many players have ever played at a high level, going into their 40th year of age. So right now on tour, like, do you know most of the players on like these young guys? Like, have you ever seen them before? Do you interact with them? Like, obviously they respect the hell out of you, but I think my last couple years on tour, there were so many players. I had no freaking clue who these guys were. What's your relationship like with all the young guys on tour right now?
Yeah, it's true. Last 2 years was so many new players that I had to do my schoolwork and try to see who is who, because so many new players, new generation. Uh, the relation with the young players is quite good. Like I say, for me, what I enjoy also is to try to face them or to practice with them, to see where is my level, what they do, how they. So I try as much as possible to play with the new generation. And I think in general, I'm quite a good player to practice with, because I'm quite easy. I can do whatever they want, and I'm gonna be there and do good practice. So I have quite a good relation in general. But it's true that there's so many young players. It's not easy to follow up, especially when you've been with one generation for 10 years.
One more fun segment for you. I'm just going to ask like a bunch of questions, like quick little answers. So you've won Roland-Garros, Australian Open, US Open, the Olympic doubles with Roger, and a Davis Cup. Which one ranks number one as your most favorite accomplishment?
It's got to be Olympic dubs.
It's gonna be French Open. Gonna be French Open. I won junior. It's close for home. I have all my friends, family. It's the French parts. France is a little bit second home for me, so it's all good.
You've won 3 majors. Would you give back one of those majors if you could be ranked number one in the world?
If I have to give only one back, yes.
Yeah, you would. Which one? Don't ask you that. Don't forget that. But you would give back. Okay.
Yes, I give one.
We did a trivia. The 7 guys who have won a major in the last 20 years with a one-handed backhand, and they were quizzing me, and I didn't think of you. You were the one guy that I saw that.
It was a big miss.
It's because I never saw that.
And he still agreed to come on.
Sam, you're missing a very obvious answer.
It's probably when you're on the clock like that, it's tough. But
he got Gaston Gaudio, but he didn't get you.
Maybe because I didn't answer your
message.
Yeah,
right. I intentionally didn't understand. Dominic Thiem was the last guy with a one-handed backhand to win a major in 2020. Do you think in the next 10 years we're gonna have multiple major winners with one-handed backhands, or do you think it might just be like one guy? Is the one-handed backhand dead? That's what I'm trying to ask.
No, it depends what you call it. Dead. I think we have a big problem with Sinner and Alcaraz at the top of the ranking with two-hand backhand to get all the slams now. So it's going to be difficult for slams. But is it dead? No, it's gonna come back. There will always be some one-hand backhand in the top 20.
All right, this is another tricky one. I mean, I don't know if you could think of it on the spot, but we this is a segment we did again a few weeks ago. If you could go to Vegas with 3 guys on tour, it could be any 3 guys from the last 20 years. Who are you bringing to Vegas with you for like a big weekend?
I take Gael Monfils, that's for sure. I take Tiafoe, Big Four. For sure, he's gonna be crazy on the gambling. I see him. If you push him a little bit, he's all in. If you find him, he's all in. And then I take Benoit Paire.
Oh, that's good.
A good answer. We never thought of him.
That's a heavy, French heavy crew. You got 50% of your crew is French.
Exactly.
Do you have a moment in tennis that still haunts you, or like a big match that you still think about?
I have Richard Gasquet quarterfinal Wimbledon 2015, losing in 5 sets. Yeah, court 1. That was a tough one. To play Novak in the semis after winning French was tough loss for me.
All right, and then final one. You're one of the few guys that can break a tennis racket over their knee. We don't see that from a lot of players. We should actually. It's pretty cool to see. We had a great baseball player in America, Bo Jackson, who used to break bats over his head. Is there a technique to breaking a racket over your knee? I feel like if I tried that, I would break my knee. I feel like if these guys tried it, they wouldn't get it. But what's the
technique?
Do you remember the first time you started that, or is there a technique?
Anger,
and don't think if it's gonna work or not. You have to go full. Like, don't hesitate. If you hesitate, it's like a tennis shot. If you hesitate, you're gonna miss it. So you have to go full. Bam. Clean.
Have you ever done it and not connected?
No. My main problem is that I still don't understand why I receive a warning for that. I don't touch the floor. I don't touch anything. Just the racket and my knee.
I agree.
And $1,000
that's-
in slams
I'm
is
with
a
you.
bit too much for a racket on the knee.
It's 2,500.
It's 2,500 for me, at least.
There's 1,000 for Stan because he's won a slam.
Yeah.
You can always appeal. You can always appeal. Oh, I'm a nice guy. Please don't give too much.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Stan, that's all we got. We really appreciate it. That was
Thank you
that was
very
amazing.
much.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Stan.
Thanks to you guys.
Thanks again to Stan for this phenomenal interview. Great insight into how the Australian Open is going so far and his amazing, amazing career with 3 slam titles. So excited to get our last episode of the review of the Australian Open final tomorrow on Sunday. So we really hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Stan, and hopefully we can keep breaking our oath and having more slam champions on the podcast in the future.